A very good morning and welcome to a new daily market outlook. In today's market outlook, I'm going to be discussing euro dollar and the other major dollar pairs and of course gold. So with that said, let's dive straight in. So starting off with euro dollar here on the daily time frame. Daily time frame for everybody's information is still bearish from this leg all the way down in towards this low. So we've had that bullish internal trend for quite a while now, which is facilitating the overall pullback for that daily swing leg. After tapping in towards this daily area of supply, we saw a V-shaped reaction in towards the downside. We saw fractal structure here on the daily break. However, what has now happened in towards the new year, euro dollar has started to consolidate. So especially on the daily time frame now, we need to start diving in towards the 4 hour, for example, or even the 1 hour and the 15 minutes to really start just seeing where the market wants to head next. Now, focusing on the 4 hour time frame, I think it's very clear to say, yes, indeed, we are ranging. So these are very dangerous times in the market. Preferably, I want to be looking for longs. So why do I want to be looking for longs when I look at the 4 hour time frame? Well, first of all, the 4 hour swing trend is bullish in towards the highs. We've hit that overall 50% mark of the overall swing range, and now we've also seen a bullish fractal break on the 4 hour time frame from this low in towards this high. So that's pretty much your push in towards the highs. Then you get that pullback in towards the downside in towards this area of demand. And then from there, indeed, we started to push back up in towards the highs. However, there is one big issue with euro dollar, and that is the fact that we are consolidating. So we're moving sideways, making trading this pair very, very risky. Because overall, if we look at euro dollar at the moment, it's very clear to say, and I drew this range trading tool in yesterday, and you can see how precisely it's been playing out. Again, 75% mark is your area of resistance, and the 25% mark is your area of support. So preferably when we have a range, you want to be buying from that 25% mark, because that is where you have the highest probability of looking for longs. Now, I have to say though, going back in towards the 4 hour, of course, the fractal structure is bullish and the swing structure is bullish. So there is confirmation to start looking for those buys. However, when we do see these areas of consolidation, the setups most likely or do in fact actually become much lower in probability. So that is something that we have to keep in mind. But overall, what we can see here, if we go down lower in towards the 15, is that the 15-minute swing structure is bullish from this low in towards this high. We've made that pullback in towards the downside. We had that descending channel correction over here, and we pulled back in towards demand. And from there, we have now seen an internal break of structure in towards the highs. We pulled back in towards demand. And what has now happened, that area of demand was coinciding with the 50% mark. So you can clearly once again see support formed. We had demand. And from there, we've now started to stall. So what I'm looking for the day ahead is for that potential long trade in towards the highs, just following the overall 50-minute trend and looking at the 4 hour fractal structure, also following the overall 4 hour fractal structure. So from this low in towards this high. The only negative confluence obviously is the fact that we're ranging and the fact that we've swiped liquidity on this side. We've swiped liquidity on the lows. So it's kind of like no man's land, right? We can move either up or down. So that it is decreasing the overall probability of the setup. That is why I'm looking for extra confirmation on this 15-minute setup. So what I want to see is a swing in towards the highs. I want to see a break of this high. Break of the high, pull back in towards this clearly formed area of demand, and then I'll be looking for that long. Or an alternative trade that we can take is after breaking this fractal high over here, because this is a fractal high, right? We have that push down, pull back, push down, pull back, push down, then boom, trend switches on London Open, pushes in towards the highs. And now what I want to see is just a slightly bigger push in towards the highs, breaking kind of like this internal high over here of this internal bearish trend. And then that pullback in towards demand, then wait for that change of character to come, and then I'll be looking for that long. So I want extra confirmation today on euro dollar, just because of the overall nature of price that we are seeing. So with that said, I hope it's all clear on euro dollar. Let's move over to the dollar index. So the dollar index over here. What can we see? Well, pretty much as we exactly explained in yesterday's video, we pulled back in towards this extreme area of supply and moving down ever since. Now, going to the 15-minute, that is the main focus for myself. Looking at the dollar index, we had clear ascending price action, then boom, push down, and now a pullback. So what I'm looking for, and we've liquidated this high now over here, what I'm looking for is that further downside to now commence on the dollar index. But for that further downside to commence and to really get those extra confirmation on the euro dollar, now we have this area of supply over here, which broke kind of like this internal low. So now I'm looking to see, okay, do we get in towards there, and then, for example, that further push down. And what you can always wait for, guys, is something called double structure confirmation. So when you are kind of like in a risky setup or looking at a risky setup, just wait to take the second break of structure, because that will then give you kind of like the confirmation that you at times need. So that is the dollar index. It is still looking good for further downside as long as the overall 15-minute trend remains bearish, and we of course obviously respect this area of supply. Now moving on in towards Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar here on the 4-hour time frame. Just quickly going and popping in towards the daily. So daily still has this fresh area of demand over here where we can move in towards. Keep that in mind. For the rest, daily, nothing really to be taken out of that. What we can say about it, I mean. So just remember, after swiping this liquidity low, we had a fractal break of structure over here. So we're now bullish fractal wise from this high and this low. We pulled back in towards 4-hour demand and saw a push in towards the highs. So after sweeping this area of liquidity, getting that fractal bullish break of structure, I was looking for longs yesterday on the 15-minute. But just to quickly point it out, over here on the 4-hour, we're just ranging, guys. So yeah, the 4-hour doesn't really add anything to our overall bias for the rest, except for the fact that we are bullish from this high in towards this low, and that the swing structure is still bullish from here to here, and that we've liquidated this low. So that's why at the moment I would say, okay, there is kind of like a higher probability that we're going to move up higher, but again, we're just ranging. So it's hard to say on an intraday scale for the rest of, let's say, today or this week, what is actually going to be happening. So going in towards the 15-minute, sorry for my cold, by the way. On the 15-minute, we're swing bullish from this low in towards this high. We pulled back with internal structure in towards this area of demand. So from that point, what I was looking for, and I shared this on Discord, so if you're not in, make sure to join. I shared I was going to be taking a potential entry over here for a 1 to 3. However, I never got that tag in, sadly. So we never retraced in towards here before moving up. So it is what it is. Now moving on and looking at Aussie dollar, we moved up higher. So now what has happened, we've kind of formed liquidity underneath this trend line, this ascending structure, hence why we're pushing in towards the downside. Now what I'm waiting for Aussie dollar is for us to hit that area of that zone of yesterday, maybe see some kind of like internal structure form or push down, then reaction, break of that high, and then I would look for that long potentially. So that's the setup on Aussie dollar that I'm looking for. Now moving on in towards pound dollar. So pound dollar over here on the 4-hour time frame. Of course, pound dollar is an even bigger range, guys. Over here we can see we're really moving sideways. However, overall, I mean, we are following the overall order flow, let's say. So this is your sell for the buy, we tap in, we move back out. Then again, over here, we kind of have this sell for the buy, and we're now inside of that. So I am looking to see one more push in towards the highs to grab the liquidity, which lies above this line of 1.27753, waiting for that to get taken out, and then potential downside move once again, because we are seeing very corrective price action towards the highs. We are inside the premium of the overall swing range. So this is your range. We can see, that liquidity lines absolutely perfectly, or aligns perfectly with that 75% mark. So we can look for those potential shorts once we reach that area of supply. So keep that in mind. That is what I'm looking for. Overall, we also have kind of like this ascending structure over here. What I'm looking to potentially trade. So for that ascending structure to play out, we at least need a fake out on the second high. So I need one more push up in towards there, and then, for example, a break, and then I'll start looking for those shorts. That's the only setup that I really see. Trading at the extreme of the overall swing range on pound dollar. I'm not looking for any shorts as of yet. Really need to take out the liquidity high first, tap in towards supply, then a potential short. Not buying just because of the fact that we're in the extreme of that overall swing range. Now moving on in towards Kiwi dollar, so NZDUSD. And NZDUSD over here on the 4-hour time frame. Also, guys, I mean, I can kind of try and give you setups, but I mean, this is just, I think, too obvious. We're just ranging. We're just really ranging. So anything can happen. We can move up and then we can move back down. Obviously, on the 4-hour time frame, fractal structure, if we just focus on that from this low in towards this high, obviously is bullish. We pulled back in towards this candle over here, we pushed out. So now we've kind of like inside of that fractal structure from this high in towards this low, we've now broken this high. So it will be more clear on the 15-minute time frame that you could potentially look for long, because obviously there's liquidity above the overall range. We have this fresh area of supply, which I would like to focus on before looking for a short, because we still have liquidity open over here, right? This low filled to take out that low. So I would preferably see one more push up, then for example push down in towards this fresh area over there. So we have to go into the 15-minute if you want to look for that potential trading opportunity. So go in towards the 15-minute, then what you'll see is that the overall 15 is still bearish. So that's the only problem that I personally have with taking longs at the moment. This is your swing high over here, which is still fresh. This is your swing low, so we can clearly see price pushed in towards the highs, then reacted over here to the left. Nothing really clear supply-wise, but then we started pushing downwards. So then we had break of structure. So push down, internal break of structure, I mean push up, push down, push up, push down. So this is what I mean, what I was mentioning at the beginning of the video, kind of like a double break confirmation. So you get that first like internal break of structure, but then like you have demand over here, right? So you can kind of still be scared that price is just going to start pushing up from there. But then what you see is, okay, we have another break. So that's kind of like that bearish confirmation with that swing structure, which we have from that high in towards this low. So now what you then saw is, okay, then you get that 50-minute zone of supply over here, buy, sell, we tap in, and then you can start looking for that entry from over there, for example, because then the probability of your short will be much higher. But then again, you see market is ranging, so you only get like 1 to 1.11 or whatever. So that's likely like a break-even short. So lower probability, guys, because the market again is ranging. So just to focus on now the 15-minute structure that we have over here. Again, we've kind of like liquidated the low of this trend line over here. So you liquidate this swing low, this low over here. And now we're reversing back in towards the highs. Kiwi dollar, I would really leave it for what it is and just wait for us to hit that higher zone before looking for any shorts. I'm not going to look for any longs because it's against my kind of like principle. This is the 15-minute swing structure. It's bearish, so don't focus on taking any longs in my opinion. So now moving on in towards our last pair. Just before we quickly check the 4-hour once more. Yeah, so that's just NZDUSD is one I would really leave. Then moving in towards our last pair, which is obviously gold. So gold over here on the 4-hour, we moved all the way in towards the lows of this swing range. At the moment, gold is a little bit messy over here. So just want to focus on the daily first. So daily structure, what are we seeing? We're seeing, of course, that we're still bullish in towards the highs. We have the swing up, the pullback, the swing up, the pullback, the swing up. So now we've pulled back in towards this area of consolidation. Price is stalling there. You can really see we're getting that slowdown over there. Highest probability is liquidating this low and then a push in towards here and then that reversal in towards the highs. That is for me the highest probability trade. At the moment, daily fractal structure is bearish. And also if we look at the 4-hour internal structure, we got that push down, that pullback, that push down, the pullback, and now again a push down. So now what I'm just looking for is to see how do we react to this. And can we potentially see like 15-minute short in towards the downside one more time before seeing, for example, a better and nicer reversal. I still think that we're going to sweep this low over here of, what is it, 2015.68. So still waiting for that low to get swept before some real upside is to come on gold. So look then at the 15-minute, see what 15-minute plays there are, and then you'll see ultimately that we broke 15 minutes swing low over here. So your 15-minute structure is bearish from that high in towards this low. So now what you see is, okay, we're making kind of like an internal structure pullback. So if we break this high over here, then you have one more potential for kind of like a long, for example, from this area of demand over here. Not that I'm going to take it, but I'll be waiting. Or, well, you could take it. I mean, from this area of demand, if price then reacts nicely, and you see kind of like a real shift in momentum, look for one more long in towards the highs. And then what we'll look for is a potential short from this supply zone, taking out liquidity above this high. or potentially even reacting to this area of consolidation overall. So there's a lot of price action, but then we need to kind of see a shift again in momentum, see that internal structure break and look for the downside. So a lot of shorts lining up for gold, in my opinion, one more time to take out that area of 4-hour/daily liquidity and tap in towards that area of daily demand. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic day. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, join Discord, and we'll speak tomorrow. Thanks, guys.